Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to play Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. I'm going to be showing you both guitar parts, so the electric lead and the acoustic backing, and I'm going to be showing you how to play it like as perfect as you practically can to the original recording. So this may be a little bit of a longer video, but by the time we're through, you're going to know how to play this song perfectly. Two things I want to mention before we start here. If you want to play in the same pitch as the recording, you're going to need like a capo on the second fret here, and then not only that, you're also going to have to tune your guitar about a quarter of a step higher. So just if you went to the third, it'd be too high pitched, so it's in between the two. I guess you could start at the third and tune down, but that's if you want to play it in the same pitch. I just figured for this video, if I'm going to be teaching you, it's going to be a lot easier for people that don't have capos if I just play in standard tuning, and then if you got the capo, you know what to do now. So without further commentary by me, I think I'll start with the electric part here. Okay, so you're going to want to start with a D minor chord here. And that's going to be the formation you're going to need to play the main riff. So that's the main riff right there. I'll walk you through step by step, note by note, so you can play it perfectly here. So you start off playing the B string here with your obviously your ring finger on the third fret because you're in that D minor formation, and then after playing that, you come up and hit the open D string, and then you play an open high E string, and then come up and hit that open D again. So it goes. And then you put your finger down here, your index finger on the first fret, and do that same thing. Hit that first, that high E string, and then go and hit the open D again. Then with your pinky, put that on the third fret of the high E string, and hit the D string again after you hit that. So it's the same pattern. You hit, one line of the melody, then you hit that D bass note, basically. So from the top. Then you pull that off and play just your index finger on the first fret here, and then hit the D note again, and then you pull it off and play the open high E, and then you play that D note one more time. So I'm sorry, at the very end you don't hit the D note. You go into the next part, but that's the first half of the riff right there, so it might take a couple times to get it down. I noticed that there's some videos that say you finger pick it. Once again, you don't finger pick this, you use a pick, which kind of, I think, can make it actually more difficult. So if you just want to play along to the song and you don't want to get super precise, you might be able to finger pick this easier than you could just with a normal pick. But anyways, from the top. So that's the first half. Then the second half, you're still in that D minor formation, and you strum two of these at the same time. So you strum the G string and the B string at the same time while in that D minor formation. And if you can, try to emphasize the G string a little bit more. The B string, that third fret right there. And then after strumming those two, you just play the that note on the B string by itself, so that third fret right here. Then slide your ring finger down to the second fret of the B string and play that. Then you go back up to that third fret where you were and play that note. So, and then here's the next part. You slide up and get the note up here, which I think is funny because most tutorials say you get this just open E string for that note because it's the same note, right? So most tutorials think it's something like And I actually think that's the easier way to play it, but when you look at like the footage of Keith actually playing it in the 60s, he does slide up to there, and it's such a subtle slide you can't even hear it. So practically speaking, I think this way might be just the better way to do it, honestly, just the, and you don't have to move your hand back down, but once again, if you want to do it exactly to the recording, you do that slide up there. And then after that, you go into the, so if you're not very good with hammer-ons, that might be a little tricky for you, but you play the open B, then hammer on with your your middle finger, the 2nd fret, and your ring finger after that, the 3rd fret. And what I'm doing with my right hand here is that you do it with an upstroke. And then you can hit this E string, the high E string, with the downstroke. And then with your fingers still here, you pull off now. So what I'm doing there is pulling off the 3rd fret, pulling off the 2nd fret, and then hammering back on the 2nd fret. But when I hammer back on, you do a downstroke. You pick it. So, but I'll show you once again from the top the whole thing. And then the drums after that kick in, and then also the sitar comes in, which I think is fun, but it does make it, a little bit more difficult to hear the guitar to play, but that's all right. The first thing you do if you're playing lead guitar is you do a arpeggio. Now, I'm pretty sure the sitar is doing it at the same time, and that's the dominant sound, but you still, if you're playing lead, you do it, and it's in that D minor shape. So you're just strumming, up strumming. And you do that 3 times. And then after that, you go into the main riff. And the main riff is very similar to the intro riff. And actually, it's easier, which is nice. With the intro riff, you're going back and forth between like the melody and then that D note, which is functioning as the bass note. But when you're actually playing the song, you don't even have to play this. They don't play it in the recording. So Keith is just going. So very similar. So you're just going there, third fret of the B string, and then you're going on the E string, open, 1, 3. So you're just going up and then back down. Open, 1, 3, 1, open. So. And then back to the B string, you play the 3rd fret twice. To the 2nd fret, back to the 3rd, then you play that E string, and then you play so then you go back down on the 3rd fret, and then this is pretty much the other different part, is at the end you hammer on that 2nd note, or the 2nd fret of the B string. So to play the chorus in this song, you're going to need to know 5 chords. That D minor we've been working with, A, C, F, and G. You work through all those. If you don't know those, I'd practice them so you can play the chorus. But the chorus sounds a little something like this on the lead guitar. So each time he plays it, Keith plays it, he gets a little bit different with it. Each different chorus. I think there's some where he repeats, but it's basically the same. He starts off with a D minor chord, goes to a C, goes to an F, goes back to the C, and then goes back to the D minor. So, and then he does a little, and then you go back to the D minor, and you go. And you play it that way the first time. Now, there's a lot of tutorials that kind of teach you to do a little, a little riff here. That comes in the second verse where it sounds like, but that comes in the second chorus, excuse me. So then the second half of that chorus, it goes very similar to the first half. So that's all the same. D minor to C to F to C again. And then this time you go to a G instead of to the D minor. And then you go to an A. And with this A chord, you bar it. You bar the second fret here. And then with your pinky reach up and get the octave note, which is the 5th fret of the high E string. And you really emphasize that. So the second chorus is going to be exactly the same as the first chorus, with the exception of one chord is played differently, and that's the D minor at this point. So you play through the beginning the normal way, and then you get to the D minor, and this is where it changes, and you go. And you're using essentially your index finger and your pinky finger to make a little riff there where it goes. But you're playing the chord over it. So open E, then 1st fret, then 3rd fret, back down to the 1st, open again, and then back to the 1st. So that's how you play the chorus. That's actually how you play it the rest of the song, basically. There is, a very small difference. And, the first time you play it, you double the last note on the 1st fret, and then there are other times you just play it once, but I think that's just a very minor difference. 3rd verse, same as the first, and then 3rd chorus, that's basically exactly the same as that second chorus that I just showed you. And then you go into the 4th verse, and that's where kind of everything cuts out, and it's basically the sitar is just by itself. Although there is a guitar, it's just very faint in the background. They must have turned it down for this section, but it's the same riff. Basically goes. So the only differences there from the main riff is that the first time you play it, you notice on that hammer on, I hit the note one more time, so I went. And then the second time I went through, I didn't even do the hammer on. That's the difference right there. Since it's very sitar heavy, you can kind of bend the notes to kind of add a little bit more to it, so. You can just do something along those lines to make it maybe sound a little better. But, I think if you just play it the normal way, that's fine too. So after that, it goes back into, essentially the chorus number 4. And that's the same as the second chorus and the 3rd chorus, where you're still doing that D minor thing where it's... and then you go into kind of that final normal verse, the verse number 5, and this one's a little bit different on on just the main riff here where it goes. So the end's a little different there, and all I'm doing is open B, 2nd fret with my middle finger, open E, then back to that 2nd fret on the B string. So that's normal, and then you end with a. So now we come to the outro. That's just the section where they're humming. There's 4 measures to it. So the first one, you're doing a similar riff to what we have been doing with just one difference. So you go. And at this point, instead of going to the 3rd fret, you go to the 1st fret of the E string. And then you play the rest of the riff the same. So it goes. So you play that 2 times through. And the 3rd time's even simpler. You just go 3rd fret, open, 1st, open, and then you play a few notes on the 3rd fret here, and then you play the rest the same. So what that sounds like is. Okay, and so you play those, and then the 3rd time you switch to chords, so you go to that D minor shape. And then you play the A with your pinky fret on the 5th here. And so after you've played that, that should be the end of the humming, and then that's when it kind of goes into the last lyrics of the song. So after the humming section, as part of the outro, you have a few more lyrics, and for that, on the lead guitar, you just go back and forth between the D minor and then the A chord here with your pinky on the 5th fret. So it goes a little something like. And so that's all you do really is just go through that back and forth 3 times, sort of to that rhythm there, and then you go into, you know, just kind of the instrumental outro where there still is kind of a little bit of that humming going. After that section with the lyrics, the final section of the outro has more humming, and it's got a little riff that goes like this. So that might be a little difficult, but I'll walk you through it. 5th fret on the high E string with your ring finger here. Then you go to the 6th fret with your pinky. Pull it off. Then pull off to your index finger on the 3rd fret. Put your ring finger back on the 5th. Pull it off again and play the 3rd fret twice. So real slow. And you come down here. So you're just doing 1, 3, 1 on that high string. And then you're going from the 1st fret here to the 3rd fret on the B, and you play that twice. So, and then you play the open B, 3rd fret on the B, open E, 2nd fret on the B, open string. So, same pattern again. 3rd, open E, 2nd on the B, open. So you play that twice. Then 2nd fret on the B, 3rd fret, high E, 3rd fret, 2nd fret on the B, third fret on the B, and then second fret on the B. Then pull off. And so you just play the open B. Then you play that second fret on the B and third fret on the B again. So that second part there goes. And so you got to put all that together, and you can play that little riff right there that goes. And I think that'll take some practice. After that, you play some more chords where you go back and forth between the D minor and the A again, where it's just some more of the same, where it's just So the final riff you play after you play those chords goes like this. So you're just going third, open E, 1, open again, third fret on the B string, and then open E, then first fret on the E. And then the second half is basically like you have been playing. Anyways, then after that you play the riff twice, the riff that we've been playing the entire song. So the last time you just hold that second note, but by that point in the song it's faded out, and so you can't really hear any of that. So that's the lead guitar part right there. I know that took a long time. There's a lot to that there. It's a lot of complexity in that song. But now I'll go over the acoustic part, and it's a lot simpler, and it should be a lot quicker to learn. If you've made it this far, really good work. It takes a lot to get through the lead guitar section. Definitely the hardest part of this song. Definitely the longest and most involved. The acoustic section is much easier than that. So as far as playing this, you do want a capo on the second fret, and then you are going to want to tune up a little bit. But I'm just going to go like I did with the lead guitar section and just say no capo for this. It's just going to be easier to teach and easier for you to play along. So the acoustic backing does not come in until the verse. It's not in the intro or anything like that. And as for the verse, 2 chords, D minor and A major. The strumming pattern for this is palm mute on the down strum, and then when you're coming up, that's when you play the strings. So it goes a little like this. So pretty simple, and it's like that for every verse too. So it's not like the lead guitar where there's little changes each verse. So there you go. As far as the chorus goes, the chords are the same as the lead guitar as well. Obviously, I'd hope so at least. So D minor, C, F, back to C, then back to D, or D minor. And then the strumming pattern's a little different, so it goes, downstroke, downstroke, and then you change chords, downstroke, downstroke, and then, you change again, and then when you get back to that D minor, that's when you're doing that kind of upstroke pattern where you palm mute on the down, and then you play the upstroke. So I'll play it for you real quick. And then after you play that part with the D minor, you go into the second half of it where you stay on the D minor and you do the 1 2 again, and you go 1 2 on the C, 1 2 on the F, 1 2 on the C again, and then after that you go to the G, right? And with that, you're doing that upstroke pattern, and then you go to the A chord and do an upstroke pattern as well. So it sounds something like this. So that's the chorus. All the choruses throughout the song are the same. So there's no variations either in that, which is nice. So all that's left is the outro section. The little march/bolero thing we got going on. So, and it starts with the humming, and then for only the first measure of the humming, you're playing the verse like you normally would, right? So the first measure, you just go D minor to the A major. And then after that, for the rest of the outro, you basically have this pattern where it's, And so the pattern there is, you start off with the D minor and you do, downstroke then mute. Then you do 1 2 3 4 mute, so it goes. And then after you've done the 1 2 3 4 twice, you do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then on the eighth note is gonna be this A chord. You're gonna change, and then you're gonna mute after that. So. And then you repeat the pattern with the A. So. So it's basically like that. There are some sections where Keith is just going really, really intensely on the acoustic, where he's not even stopping. He's just going. So, if you want to do that, that's cool too. But I think you'll be okay if you stick with that steady march pattern where it's. But anyways, this was a long tutorial, but I think I covered all the bases. I think you should be able to play the song in its entirety in the recording. Both guitar parts, I think you should be able to play it perfectly to the original recording. I want to thank you if you stuck through this video. I really hope it was helpful. If it was, please like the video. If you like my other videos, please subscribe. And if you didn't think it was helpful, I guess you can dislike, but I really would like to know why. So if you could put a comment down, that'd be cool too. So anyways, I hope this was a helpful video, and thanks for sticking with it. Have a good one.